the internet by itself is just a tool, right? We've talked about currency and money is debt is being a tool, right? It can be used for good. It can be used for bad. AI is going to be exactly the same thing. You can either use it for good, or there's going to be others that are out there going to be using it for bad. Now, you can choose whether or not you use it for good or for bad.
Are you looking for true personal freedom? The freedom to design a life you truly desire? Then you're absolutely in the right place. True personal freedom comes from when you take 100% responsibility and control of your money and your mind. Here, you're going to learn ideas, tips, and wisdom that's going to help you bridge the gap from where you are now to your dream life in the future. My name is Randy Wilson, and welcome to the Rich Mind Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to the Rich Mind Podcast. Today, let's talk about the subject of change and how a lot of times we try to avoid change in our lives, and how actually right now, this time in history, it could be one of the things that you need to really embrace. The way life is changing and the quickness to that change has happened so rapidly that I just want to talk about that here just for a few minutes here today. So hopefully you'll find value in this message. So I just got off a mastermind call, and part of the speakers that were talking to us, we went into the discussion of AI, so artificial intelligence, and how it's very rapidly changing, and it's going to be changing the landscape of the world of the way we know it very quickly, and it already has in many, many different ways. So they talked about, and I believe this, and so that's why I really wanted to talk about this subject today, that it's you are going to either be, and you can choose, that's the best part about this, you have the ability to choose which side of it you want to be on. You can either be on the side that's going to embrace it, learn how to use it, take the challenge of seeing how you can implement it into your life, into your business, into your reality. Or you're going to be on the other side of that and you're going to push it away, meaning you're going to basically just not even embrace the idea and push it away as far as something that is a change that you're not going to want to partake in. And I would love to encourage you to think of it in the first way, is to try to embrace it. And so let me just tell you a quick little story that might help bring this home, meaning in the way that I see and how this is evolving. I can vividly remember, I'm old enough that I can vividly remember back in mid-1990s. So I graduated in 1993. So we're talking 96, 97-ish time frame. Being in a classroom. So that was back in the time when I was actually trying to go to school and finish my degree. And sitting in class, my professor, he was a young professor at the time. He might have been in his 30s, maybe early 40s at the time. He was older than I was. And at that point, I was in my mid-20s. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that he was at the front of the class talking about how he was buying and selling domains. And I remember raising my hand and saying, what the heck is a domain? I didn't even know what that was. That's how early I can remember when the internet was just being a new thing, right? And it's either you embraced the internet and used it, or else you've basically not embraced it at all and tried to stay in the past, living life the way things were. And it's not that you necessarily maybe have suffered, but at the same time, you didn't get the opportunity to take advantage of the internet as you would have back then. So if I would have been paying attention, if I would have even have known that what a domain was and how I could buy and sell domains, I mean, we're talking like basic domains like cars.com or toys.com or all of the domains that you can imagine today, that if you would have been able to get your hands on back in the day, how you could have taken that information and ran with it in so many different ways to be a positive for you and for the world. So this time around, as far as, let me give you an example of pushback. So cell phones really have not really been around that long. I can remember when I first got my very first cell phone. And one thing that I encouraged my father to do was for him to get a cell phone. And it didn't have any, it was a flip phone. So, and it wasn't anything fancy. It was just a push button flip phone. He fought me on keeping that thing on him, on his presence, but then even turned on literally until the day he passed. He would not ever keep it on him, to the point where I got so frustrated and mad at him at one point because I really needed to get a hold of him for something. I forget exactly what the story was, but it was something to do with the family. I needed to get a hold of my father. I knew he had a cell phone, but he refused to keep it on him. He refused to have it turned on. The reason why I even talk about that story is that that's exactly how I think that you're going to either embrace what's happening with AI, or you're going to be distant and you're going to push it away and not necessarily see the benefits that is coming. So and I'm just getting started with this as well. So I've been playing around with it. I heard about it when it first launched. I think it was February-ish or March. This is 2023 is when I first started hearing about artificial intelligence, AI, ChatGPT, and there's many others. But the idea is that I heard about it and I started going down the rabbit trail trying to figure out and learn as much about it as I could. So I would say at this point, I'm more of a novice. I'm still trying to learn. And I'm trying to get into as many, whether it's a virtual room or involved with other people that are learning how to implement it into their lives as well. And that's exactly what this discussion was that we just had. And what I want to leave with you today with this short message is that embrace it. Learn how to play around with it. It's not going to be a negative, in my opinion. It can be, right? But just like the internet, the example I gave to my daughter, we were having this discussion last week. The internet by itself is just a tool, right? We've talked about currency and money debt is being a tool, right? It can be used for good. It can be used for bad. AI is going to be exactly the same thing. You can either use it for good, or there's going to be others that are out there going to be using it for bad. Now, you can choose whether or not you use it for good or for bad. And I would hopefully suggest that you use it for good. But the point is that once you learn to embrace it, you learn how to use it and how it can help you, basic things. My daughter, who I was talking to, she's a bartender by trade, and she was trying to come up with a new drink, flavored drink based on I forget exactly the details she was trying to come up with, but she was amazed at what the AI produced as far as an opportunity for her to create this brand new drink that she hadn't tested it to see if it would have been out there anywhere else at all. And she hasn't actually made the drink yet. But the point is that she used her imagination trying to figure out how she could take her skills as a bartender and then, create something brand new, which isn't in the world as we speak, right? Which is super, super cool. So I'm trying to use it for the podcast, right? I'm going to start trying to use it for different imagery, whether it be just recording giving me some different ideas, some different topics, some different video options, right? There's so many different things. I just want to encourage you to go down the road. ChatGPT is probably the one that's mostly known by out there in the world. There are others, but at the same time, just start with ChatGPT. Bard, B-A-R-D, .com with Google. If you just put in a Google search, Bard, B-A-R-D, that is their version of ChatGPT. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just different. And I play with both. And I would encourage you to do the same. So that's where I want to leave you with this message today. Embrace the changes that are coming. They're coming very quickly, just like the internet back in the late 90s and how things have evolved until today. What's coming to us and for us in the near future is going to be coming at a very rapid pace. And I recommend that you get in front of it and try to learn from it and learn how to use it, not only in your business life, but also in your personal life. And you can definitely do that both ways. So hopefully you found that message valuable today. I look forward to coming to you the next time on the next episode. And until then, bye now.
Thank you for joining me on the Rich Mind Podcast. I hope you found a ton of value in this episode. If so, I'd really appreciate a 5-star review. And you can also share it with your family and friends. And as my mentor Jim Rohn shared with me, in order to have more, you must first become more. And in order to become more, you must work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So go out there today and work harder on yourself to become more and build the life of your dreams. Until next time, my friends.